Oh, hello YouTubers, hello vinyl community, and hello everybody else. I haven't been online making videos for some time now, and for different reasons. One is that work is rather demanding, and also that I haven't really felt like doing it. But I thought, well, why not? This night I felt really, well, a bit bored after a long day's work, but not tired enough to go to bed. So, alright, let's do a quick video. Right now, on my little dual record player that I showed in the last video, I'm listening to Tchaikovsky, this lovely 10-inch album here. Piano Concerto No. 1, Alexander Uninsky on the piano. The Hague Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by William van Otterlo. So it's a Dutch LP, and it's on Philips, so it can't be more Dutch than that. And well, I like it. It's a nice recording, and also I like the lovely little cat on the sleeve. Right, I haven't bought, that's not one of the more recent records, but I'm playing it in the background right now because I like it. And it's very soothing. But I'm going to show you some of the latest records that I bought the last couple of months. Not all of them, but a small selection. One artist that I've been really curious to really get started and really listen to, well, for a couple of years, but haven't really got started until now. That's David Bowie. And when I was up in Luleå in northern Sweden, visiting old friends, relatives, and so on, I also bought some records from a couple of great sellers that we have up there. And I bought these two. Ziggy Stardust, very famous, and I can understand the hype. It's a great album. And also this one, Low. And I like them both very much. So I started checking his discography and buying them bit by bit. I haven't got that many of these really expensive first pressings, but well, never mind. First one here we have is Space Oddity, and I think this is a reissue. It says 1972, but I think, isn't the record a bit older than that? Yeah, recorded in 1969. It has this blue sleeve with David Bowie's face, I think. Isn't it just called David Bowie, or am I mixing them up? Well, anyway, this is an RCA. It's a German RCA. And then we have Hunky Dory, also very good. On the RCA International, this is of course then a later reissue. It's on the green RCA International label, the British one. I think late 70s, early 80s. Then Aladdin Sane, also on RCA International. As you see, I've been mainly buying cheaper issues of the albums because, well, I was more curious in the music than actually getting the first pressings. So I've been able to get hold of these rather quite cheaply. Although I have to say the Ziggy Stardust, I think it's a very early pressing. Well, right. Pinups, his cover album, well, with album with covers of and I think this is Twiggy, isn't it? Also on RCA, it's British pressing, and Diamond Dogs. No, it's not the one with the genitals. This is a later reissue from. It's a British reissue also. Sorry. From. Well. It's a British reissue on RCA International, and then finally, and this is a British. This is maybe an early pressing, Heroes from 1977. So, been a lot into David Bowie lately. Right, let's have a look on some others. Well, first we have this lovely reissue. The Swedish record label Subliminal Sounds have been reissuing issues from the very collectible Gump label, which was a progressive Swedish label. It was a label. It was Metronome's prog label, just like Vertigo was Philips' prog label, and so on. And those records, they were all pressed in very small quantities, and hence today very collectible and expensive. But they have. This is the third reissue, and I think all 9 or 10 original Gump issues may be reissued sooner or later. This is the third one, and it's Mats Glengård, Kosteläge. And Mats Glengård, violinist and guitar player, played at, well, not at this time. I think he hadn't started playing with Kebnekaise when this was recorded, but he would become one of the really important members, and he still is that today. And, well, what can we say more about this? We have great musicians like, well, Thomas Netzler also played with Kebnekaise. Great drummer Bosse Skoglund, big bearded drummer. Sten Bergman on piano. Yeah. And this was originally recorded and issued in 1972, but we now have a nice reissue on 180 gram vinyl. Thank you, Subliminal Sounds. No, I'm not sponsored by them. Then we have this thing that I found in in Luleå, natural gas. Christer Pettersson at Café Musica, he found it, and he thought, well, he didn't know what this was, so he played it, and I thought, well, this is bloody good, and it's jazz rock, a bit like Blood, Sweat and Tears, but with more rocky rock and roll sounding singer, a bit like the Uriah Heep singer. I can't remember his name now. This is a Canadian group, and they are called Natural Gas, and it's on the Firebird label, and I've never heard of that before, but it's very good. I'm very happy I've got hold of this, and hadn't the seller, this was probably his good idea, oh, I'm going to sell this record, hadn't he played this because he was curious, I may not have been that interested because the sleeve doesn't really look that exciting, but well, who knows. Right, and then a couple of days later, I at another seller up in Luleå, less known seller called Kjell, and he's a seller up at, it's called Kronan. He showed me this. It's Street Mark. It's a German band, and it's on the Sky label, and that's a good sign. The album is called Nordland from 1976, and they are really big. We have progressive rock, we have symphonic rock, we have even some sort of jazzy feeling. It's very varied, and these two actually have something in common. Apart from being great albums, and that I found them up in Luleå, but they have something musical in common, and what might that be? Well, I asked that question in the Facebook groups that I'm a member of to see if they could come up with the answer, but apparently none of those active there had both these issues. So I can tell you now what the common thing is. Both these albums contain a cover version of Eleanor Rigby, Beatles' Eleanor Rigby, and great versions. So that's that. Yeah, and I've been filling up some of the gaps in my Deep Purple collection. First by getting this album I've been looking for a long time, made in Japan. Many talk about this as the best live album ever, and it's bloody amazing, I have to say that. Really amazing. Then, with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Malcolm Arnold. Concerto for Group and Orchestra, composed by John Lord. This was John Lord's baby. The others were a bit not too keen on it. I think it's an interesting experiment, and it's great music, even though it's not really the Deep Purple that I think is the best. This is Fame reissue, even though it has the Harvest label. Right, and over to this one then. This is their third album, isn't it? And the first on the Harvest label. I may be mistaken there. I think. Well, is it? I'm not sure. Anyway, really great. This is an early pressing. It may be from the actual time. It looks like that, and well, it's great. It's not in perfect tip-top condition, but it's you play it and listen to it and can enjoy the music without being bothered. It looks worse than it sounds. It looks looks a little bit scratchy, but it isn't. It's fine. It doesn't sound scratchy, which is more important. So, I've got quite a lot of Deep Purple now, although I'm still missing some key records there. And, yeah, let's end with one of the great groups, Led Zeppelin. I've got not all of their albums, but almost all of them, and I managed to get hold of this bootleg too. Paris Theatre 1971. And when it comes to bootlegs, you really don't know what you're getting, because sometimes they are so, sorry, I almost cursed, bloody, well, so very awful that you can't even listen to them. But this is very good. It's great sound and great recording from Paris Studios in London, so it isn't crap at all. And then to fill out the collection, I got Coda from 1982, and this was, of course, recorded after the death of their great drummer, John Bonham. It's okay. I mean, you can tell that it's not them at their best, but it's fine as an album. I think my little jewel friend here in the back is soon about to finish, so I think it's a good idea that I finish as well. Bye bye.